Welcome everybody to the weekly recap. I'm Andy from Winning in the Shadows. You guys know what we do on Mondays. We go over our last week of bets. Full disclosure, we go over our record, how much units we won or lost, we go over our ROI, and we update how we're doing for the year. And let's get right into it. It's easy to get on here and talk about when we have winning weeks, but it's more important to get on here and talk about when we have losing weeks. And we had our first pretty bad week in a long time. So last week we lost a little bit, but this week we call it 10 units. It's 9.91. Not a complete disaster. We always say we're just trying to avoid those weeks where you lose like 20%. The theme this week is razor thin edges. And I'm going to show you something that I didn't even realize until I started doing the math. And I'm going to show you that here in a bit. That shows you how close it is to being a successful long-term bettor and a not successful long-term bettor. And if you're watching this and you're following all of our client plays, congratulations, you've chosen to be a part of something really special. You've chosen to look at your bankroll as a business and as like a stock portfolio, which is something most people don't. I find it interesting that these videos, our recap videos, are like the least watched videos that we do on the channel, and they're the most important. They are the most important videos that we will ever do on this channel. So if you're watching this, congratulations to you. All right. Keep in mind razor thin margins because I'm going to blow your mind here a little bit later. All right. So let's take a look. What? Let's get rid of that line. Okay. So what went well and what didn't go well? MMA. I'll get to. I'll get to the cross sport parlay. So we had a Bellator play 1-0. So 3 units. So all plays that we only had one play that was purely MMA. What is not on here is what we did with Dana White Contender Series. And if you guys all followed us on our live show, you know we said we didn't have any plays going into Contender Series. I said, let's just find one play that we can get a live line and hit it. And we did. So for those of you that followed, awesome. I was so proud of how we handled that. So, but MMA plus 3 units. Lacrosse 1-0 plus 3 units. I'm so happy for Dan. His play was in the league championship game. He's had such a great year in lacrosse, and to end that season with a winner, I'm so happy for him. Shout out to the lacrosse department. College football back on track. We do our one play. It was I don't want to. So we had San Diego State under 14 and a half. They scored 10 points. Their offense is absolutely horrific. They had multiple drives where it was first and 10, all of a sudden third and 24. Uh, so we get there 2-1 on the year. That's a 15-5 run since I started doing college football. One play a week, and we started last year. We are 15-5, so I'm really happy with that. NFL is going to be the talking point, so I'll come back to that one. Darts, we go 0-3, whatever. Corbin had a bad week with darts. Who gives a shit because he's up big on darts for the year. Just a bad week. Cross sport parlay, we go 1-2. We lost on Jasmine Wargi getting absolutely face planted and then subbed out by a not good fighter. And you could just feel it. It was gonna. Jim was sick this weekend. Corbin was not in a good mood. I was in a terrible mood, and you could just feel the vibes were off. So we lose the 5% play. We hit Rosas. He was one leg. We hit John Rahm to finish in the top 10 on the lift. He wins the league championship, and then we lose on Wargi. That was our week right there. There were 2 plays, Wargi and Liam McCourt getting subbed in the first round. We had that fight in Bellator. That was the main event. We had that um, to go over 2.5, and that's our week right there. Those 2 plays absolutely tanked us. We hit those. We're back here bragging about how awesome we did, but it happens. We were due for some regression. But yeah, the cross sport parlay really hurt. We also got burned when the Ravens lost to the Raiders, and that's going to be a theme. So let's talk NFL. We go 1-3 minus 3.2. I'm Here's our debate with NFL, and I talked to Jim earlier about this. We have so many plays that we like that our struggle is what do we put as official plays and what do we not? This week happened to be everything we laid off one. We talked about Malik Neighbors over his receptions yards. We didn't put it. Talk about Kyle Juszczyk going over his. We didn't put that in. Talk about J.K. Dobbins over his rushing. We didn't. Those are three outright winners that we didn't put in. What did we put in? Three plays that lost. On the flip side, we hit our one big play. Our favorite play of the week was James Cook over his rushing on Thursday Night Football. That one wins easily. Probably should have called it there. So what Jim and I were talking about earlier, we were talking about a couple options that we can do with NFL. One option is we can go the college football route, which is we get one play a week. That's it. Option two, we can put in as many plays as we want, 10 of them, but they're all a quarter unit plays. So 0.25. That way, if we lose all 10, we're out 2.5 units or 3 units uh, with the juice. Um, the other thing that Jim and I talked about is we need to get back to our roots, which is finding plays that are really off the radar. Why didn't we put in Aaron Rodgers under 2.5 rushes? Why didn't last week? Why didn't we put Kirk Cousins under? We need to get back to what winning in the shadows is, which is doing plays that nobody else is playing. We had the Texans money line in a parlay. I feel like that was a popular play. It hit, but whatever. We had the Ravens in the money line. Everyone lost on that one. That was like had to be one of the most popular teasers of the week. And that's what NFL is. It's so hard. It's the hardest sport. I laugh when people are like, "I'm glad baseball season's over so we can get back to NFL." Yeah, okay, you were losing in baseball, now you're losing in football. Wonderful. So NFL has just been we've not off to a good start. It's really held us back. So we're gonna really, really dig deep and find some plays moving forward that are just not on anyone's radar. So that's gonna be what we're gonna really, really focus on with NFL. So and that being said, listen, it wasn't a complete disaster, like hitting the 4% play and then losing a couple, losing a few small ones. It's not the end of the world, but it's frustrating for us when we have high standards. We're up now, we're 140 units up. We dropped some units last couple weeks. No big deal long term, but that's what we're going to monitor. So, still happy with MMA. Still happy with college football and cross sport parlays. We'll be fine. So, official things for 2024 were 427 wins, 276 losses. That's 60.7%. Remember the 60.7% because I remember, or I wanted you guys to think of razor thin margins. We're up 141 units, 8.7% ROI. Absolutely fantastic. If you're watching this and you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. If you have not joined the Discord, make sure you do that as well. Get some really, really good people and some really good free bets that are going on in the Discord. It's a great group of guys. Really encourage everyone to join that if you haven't. What do we have this week? So Tuesday, Contender Series official play goes up. I'm going to put it up Monday night, but it's going to be $5, and we do have a play before the fights happen. We'll still be live on Tuesday, but we will absolutely be ready with this play. I love this play. I already put it in. I have to wait until 8 o'clock Eastern time to upload it. So by the time you guys are watching it, that should be up. So we'll get the week started off right. Shout outs. We're shouting out the college football department, getting back to our winning ways in there. Shout out to the Bellator department. We had one play, we hit that, and a shout out to the lacrosse department on another successful season. I believe indoor lacrosse starts up very soon. So those of you that have been cashing in on lacrosse with us, doesn't stop. So we'll be looking forward to that. Okay, I mentioned razor thin. I'm going to go over some numbers that shows you how how close it is to being super successful and not super successful. So we have our goals. Our goal is 3% per week. Now that is an outlandish goal. Mathematically, it's just not possible, but that's our goal. We like to set high goals. So our goal is to try and hit 3% a week. We've gone over that where, if you get 3% a week, you turn $1,000 into $1,000,000 in a few years. But really, that number that we're trying to hit is 60% winners. Over the course of many years, if you hit 60% of your winners, you're going to be rich. We lay more juice than most, so I bump it up to 60%. I think most pros would tell you 57 to 58% if you're laying the minus 110, minus 120s. We bump ours up to 60% because we're a lot more juice tolerant. 60%. So if we hit 60%, we're the best in the world. You guys realize that's only 31 winning weeks? 60% of the year, 52 weeks, is 31 winning weeks, which means we are going to lose 21 out of those. We're going to suffer losses on 21 weeks out of the year, and that's to be the best. And I was really like struggling with it because I'm like, oh God, we've lost 2 weeks in a row, which is infuriating. It was like we won 10 weeks in a row, so we've turned a profit 10 out of 12 weeks. So I started thinking to myself, well, how many weeks do you have to like really like turn a profit? So here's what's crazy: we're up 140 units. All you all access clients are ecstatic with how we've been. If you've been with us from the beginning of the year, you're ecstatic. Your bankroll has exploded if you're just following these. We have 23 winning weeks and 15 losing weeks, and we're up 140 units. That's how close the margins are. We have only won money 8 more weeks out of the year than we've lost. That's how super super close these margins are. And that's why it's so important to look at the way that we do things long term. You cannot look at a month or 8 weeks or even 12 weeks. You have to look at this over the course of the year, over the course of the last 365 days. And when you kind of extrapolate all those numbers out, it really is mind blowing. And what got me thinking about this was I remember Ralph Michaels saying, if you just look at it month wise, if you win 60% of your bets, that means you're only profitable 7 months out of the year. You're losing 5 months out of the year. It's like there's no other like business or industry where if you're right 60% of the time, you're just like at the best. So I think it's kind of interesting that when you look at the types of numbers that we've been putting up in 2024, we're right on pace with that. So we have 23 winning weeks. So if we have 8 more winning weeks for the rest of the year, we will be successful in hitting that 60% winner. So you look at this, it's 8 winning weeks compared to 6 losing weeks. If we do that, that is being the best. So it's pretty crazy to just look at that and go, wow, if we're going to hit our goals, we need to accept that we're going to lose 21 weeks out of the year. And in those losing weeks, you can't give up the 20-30% during those weeks. You just can't. It's like a stock market, there's going to be dips and turns and you know how it goes up. So I just thought that was it was really interesting. And part of the reason why I think that's really interesting is our UFC breakdown video. I was It was the worst breakdown video for UFC I've done all year. Every year we have one where I just get everything wrong, and I could not have been more wrong. And people on the Wager Talk channel did not hesitate to let me know that. But those are the people that are firing away a million plays and following free play videos and stuff, and that's just not what we do. Those are the people that do not understand that if you want to be the best and you want to turn a profit, you're going to lose 21 weeks out of the year and you're going to win 31 weeks. So it's pretty amazing to look at this because I'm just thinking to myself, man, we must be like killing it. Not really. 23 winning weeks, 15 losing weeks, but just that just that margin is enough to be up 141 units. It is really really stunning. So I'm happy that long term we've kept our margins in check. So I think we got some adjustments to make, and I think we're going to be okay. Um, let's take a look at the bankroll. Perfectly fine with where the bankroll is at. Last August we started with $10,000. Right now we're at 33,101. So we go back to, I mean, just June 24th, we were at 12,000. And just look at the power of the compound interest and not pulling money out of your bankroll and just trying to turn a profit each week. So, still really happy with that. But yeah, amazing to count up those those weeks and see that. So, if you guys have any questions, just hit me up on Discord or you leave a comment. But hope everyone is having good success with the spreadsheet that we provided in Discord. If you haven't clicked on that, there's a link to the free spreadsheet that Hector was gracious enough to let us have. It breaks down. You can put in all of your plays and track all your plays. It's amazing. It's so powerful. You can see what percentage plays are winning, what sport you're doing better, and it's something that you absolutely have to have. You have to be able to track those plays and see what's working and what's not working. So if you haven't done that, absolutely get that. And then the other thing that I'm working on is I was really interested in the hearings in Massachusetts where the gaming commission was asking all the legal sports books about limiting players. I'm putting I think I'm going to do a separate video on that. I'm trying to put together the pieces of what we can have, what takeaways we can have for it, because they spelled out how we limit players. There's one big gray area that I need to think about how to approach. But basically, like they said, like if you're arbitrage betting, you're going to get limited. Um, you have multiple accounts, you're going to get limited. If you hedge consistently on on those books with live lines, you're going to get limited. So they finally had to kind of say, hey, this is why we limit players. So we learned a lot. So they told us, hey, here's what, if you do this, you will get limited. So that was very helpful. The commission, I think, is going to push them a little bit more. The gray area is how they said we limit people if someone has a better model than us, which means that's their gray area for if someone's kicking our ass, we can limit them. So I'll be interested to see what comes of that. The interesting thing, out of everything I read and everything I followed, the one word I never heard at all was parlay. The books never mentioned the word parlay. The commission never said anything about parlays, which I think that's the real. I think that just goes to show once again, people consistently lose a shitload of money on parlays, and that works out great for us because we use parlays all the time. It's one of the most powerful things that we use. Our same game parlays are we're up big for the year. But I thought it was very interesting how they didn't really talk about they don't limit anybody with parlays. You didn't hear that word mentioned one time because they're crushing on same game parlays and all these others. So I think that's a good thing because I have never been limited on parlay betting. I've not heard of anybody being limited on parlay betting. So I'm sure it's happened, but I have not experienced it. I haven't seen it, but I've been limited on props and other things across various sports. So it was an interesting thing. I think I'm going to do a separate video where I talk about all my takeaways from there and we spell out a little bit of plan about how to not get limited on the books. But I thought it was interesting. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for the weekly recap. Again, thank you so much for joining us. No, it was a bummer of a week, but they happen. You just have to mentally get ready for it. We spelled it out. If you're going to go for a year of plays and you're going to be the best in the world, you're going to lose 40% of the weeks. But as long as you're hitting that 60%, you're going to be in really really good shape, which is what we've done. So, all right, guys, thanks very much. Good luck on all your plays, and we'll see you over later.